overwhelmed or bogged down by being trapped within this made-up world within history, like trying to think of historical stuff that will parallel what's going on with the characters in their lives?
No, I don't. I think it's wonderful. It's not a restriction at all. Because, you know, what's your restriction right now in writing a story about somebody? You can't talk about the Iraq War how many movies at this festival are going to mention the Iraq War? And it's an overwhelming experience if you look at the newspaper, but it's really not in an interpersonal way. And it's not to take away from the tragedy of it or the people whose lives are being sacrificed, but it is a historic reality. What's been fascinating for me is to look at history and see how we interact with it as human beings and how much of it actually penetrates our lives and how big does something have to be to penetrate our lives. And what's great is sometimes it parallels it. Flight 1, you know, it's great to have that story, you know, to find out that the day that John Glenn was getting his parade for going around the world that the first airplane crashed, first jetliner. Sometimes history just lays something out for you. Marilyn Monroe's death seems so symbolic and important to these people. And I started off wanting to tell a story about how frivolous it was for us to be obsessed with celebrity, and I ended up thinking, like, I know why people are obsessed with celebrity, because it's our religion. It's the thing that we can talk about that we have in common. I don't feel any restriction from it at all, because I'm really interested in the people, and sometimes history peeks in and sometimes it doesn't. This episode we did dealing with civil rights, I was just trying to show that it's really, you know, it affected Betty. Betty's absorbing it because it showed up in her when she was drugged out having that baby. But at the same time, if it doesn't affect you, it's sort of in the background. And now with, you know, 25, 40 years hindsight, we can look at it and say, wow, did you know how important that was? Probably not.